Well, here we are in the acoustic number of the DVD. We try to make sure we have at least one that's fairly mellow, at least mellow most of the time. And acoustic, no electronic parts, no lasers and flashing lights and all that stuff that I tend to gravitate towards a little bit. And this is more serene and peaceful and less science fiction, but still a little bit out there. And this was an interesting one in many ways. Often our pieces start, and I have a very clear idea of the instrumentation. I have a sense of the music, and other times less so. And this is one of those cases where I actually didn't know musically where it was going. And, Dave was asking me, okay, well, what are these different instruments going to do, or different components of the instrument? What are their ranges, and how will they play? And I just basically kept saying, I'm not really sure yet. Just make it weird, make it interesting and different, all kinds of strange angles. And I directed this one from a much more abstract and less specific way, and he put a lot of his own design into it, and actually what we did is ended up letting that be sort of a constraint for the music, rather than designing the instrument to play a certain piece of music. It ended up being at the end, well, here's this instrument. Now I got to figure out how to write some music for it. And literally it was pretty much completed, totally done, before I even began to write music. And I had no idea what to do with this thing. It was the last piece of music that I wrote. It was the last animation that we produced for Animusic 2. And I was a little concerned that I wasn't going to be able to come up with anything at all. But, well, here it is. I actually spent a lot of time going back and forth trying to figure out, what kind of music this thing would play. Because on one hand, I wanted it to be sort of the mellow piece, and on the other hand, it's so unusual and strange that it wouldn't make sense to have it play something that's very, just very normal sounding, sort of like the Aquaharp piece in Animusic 1, just very straightforward, very basic sort of chord progression and arpeggios. This thing is kind of a little bit wacky, so I decided it had to have some parts, for example, this part that's just a little bit out there, a little bit strange, and yet also have some parts that were very kind of straightforward, mellow arpeggios, melodies, and stuff like that. So I tried to sort of blend both together, and then I was worried about, do these different styles of music even go together, and is this the music that this instrument should really be playing? And I can just get myself to a point where I overanalyze and worry about it so much that I get myself all bound up and I can't go anywhere. So eventually I sort of had to just relax and go, okay, this seems to be working itself out. And so anyway, that's the story behind that one. The skies outside are actually 4 different skies, 4 different moons. And our original thought was to have a different sky out each window, even being a different time of day, to make it really surreal. But in the end, we ended up having it be basically evening out all 4 windows.